Hello, I'm Mukala Kabongo, and on this edition of the LCTV News, election results, new officers sworn into the Lynn Police Department, Fall Festival, and more. On the Lynn Lowdown, we talked with Lynn's new mayor. Here's this week's LCTV News for Friday, November 5th, 2021.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Columbia Insurance Agency, serving the Lynn community for over 60 years with home, auto, and business insurance.
The city of Lynn has elected a new mayor. Jared Nicholson became Lynn's 58th mayor after winning all 28 precincts in the city. Nicholson received 3,430 more votes than opponent Darren Sear. The final tally saw Nicholson with 7,962 votes, which accounted for 63.4% of the votes, compared to Sear's 4,532 votes, which accounted for 36.13% of the votes. Nicholson said the big reason for his victory was due to his grassroots campaigning, knocking on doors, and all the volunteers that contributed to his campaign. In other races, we saw Coco Al-Sung win the Ward 3 race. Al-Sung defeated opponent George Mamateus 1,300 to 684. Al-Sung will fill in Darren Sear's seat. In the race for Ward 4, Rich Colucci defeated Natasha Meji-Madri 637 to 573. Colucci is the longest tenured council member. Richard Starbird defeated Elizabeth Figueroa 1,179 to 616 in the Ward 2 race. All four incumbents for councilor at large won their race, led by Buzzy Barton, who took in 5,789 votes. Brian LaPierre had the second most votes with 5,726 votes, followed by Hong Net with 5,703 votes and Brian Field with 5,261 votes. The school committee added 3 new members with Lenny Pena, Eric Dugan, and Tiffany Magnolia. Pena finished 4th with 4,185 votes. Dugan came in 5th with 4,064 votes, and Tiffany Magnolia finished 6th with 3,673 votes. The 3 incumbents topped the ballot, led by Donna Coppola, followed by Lorraine Gately and Brian Castellanos. Congratulations to all the newly elected city officials. The New American Association of Massachusetts will be assisting Afghan refugees who recently evacuated after the Taliban took control of the region. The New American Association will assist the refugees in finding housing, jobs, as well as language training and cultural support. They will also help the Afghan refugees integrate into American society. For those interested in assisting, they should visit www.naamass.org. Kings Beach was awarded $300,000 worth of amendments after the state delegation secured $6.85 million for local investments out of a $3.82 billion spending bill that was passed in the Massachusetts House of Representatives. The funding from this bill will allow the replacement of a sewage pump station in Swampscott. $100,000 will go towards a Lynn waterfront coastal resiliency project to support development of plans for shoreline restoration in Lynn Harbor to mitigate current erosion, create more resilient shoreline adjacent to critical infrastructure, and support the transformation of a landfill into a signature park of more than 30 acres. Healing Abused Working for Change was awarded the Above and Beyond Award for Excellence and $25,000 from the Women's Fund of Essex County for their work on creating social change. The nonprofit organization has been providing critical services, emergency shelter, and advocacy to survivors of domestic violence for 43 years. Since 2003, the Women's Fund of Essex County has raised and awarded more than $2.8 million for nonprofit partners that provide local women, girls, and their families with resources they need to find success at work, school, home, and life. Earlier this week, 4 new officers were sworn into the Lynn Police Department. The 4 new officers were Nicholas Costa, Giovanni Lorenzit Martin, Catherine Murray, and Mark Wabreck. All took their oath during a small ceremony at the Lynn Police Station. With these new officers officially sworn in, that brings the total of officers on the force to 186. Congratulations and good luck to the new officers. On Monday morning, a carjacking suspect was apprehended. Jose Lopez Funes carjacked 2 vehicles and eventually crashed into another vehicle in Swampscott before being apprehended. Lopez Funes was charged with 2 counts of using a motor vehicle in felony larceny and assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Lopez Funes is due back in court on November 19th. LCTV was on location at Lynn Classical for the Fall Festival. Here's more.
Hi, I'm Leah Warren. I'm actually a parent of one of the students at Lincoln Thompson, and I'm a teacher here at Lynn Classical, and I'm on the PTO for Lincoln Thompson. And this is our fall festival. We've never had it at Lynn Classical before, so we're very gracious that they let us use the facility. It's nice and spread out. The kids have lots of crafts. They have games, cookie decorating, face painting, all free of charge. And then we have some food in the other room. We have a raffle board and some school gear. So it's it's the first time they've done anything in 2 years. So everybody's really excited. And kudos to all the parents at Lincoln Thompson that helped out, especially Michelle D'Agostino is like the mastermind for this whole thing. So she's done a ton of work for this.
The Lynn Family Forward Resources Center hosted a trunk or treat event last Friday, and LCTV was in attendance.
Yeah. You're never too old for trick or treat.
I'm good.
We got cheddar, we got that for you.
Oh, cool. You have a bag?
I'll hold our bags.
No, we gotta call. Oh, look at. Okay.
The Lynn Museum held its Halloween bash last Friday at their Washington Street building, and LCTV was present.
I'm Donika Thurston. I'm the director of the Lynn Museum and Lynn Arts, and we are at Final Fridays Trick or Treat. We began the Final Fridays program with Lynn Main Streets and the Downtown Lynn Cultural District last year in the height of the pandemic to bring outdoor fun activities to the community. So this is our 2nd annual Trick or Treat. We did one last year in the snow, which was unpredictable, but we're happy we have great weather here today. We have some awesome partners joining us, including the DeMacus Family Y, Leo, of course Lynn Main Streets, Lynn Museum, Lynn Arts, North Shore Juneteenth, and the City of Lynn are here today to hand out candy and provide a trick-or-treat experience for our community families that's safe and fun. So we thank everyone for joining us, and happy Halloween.
Lynn seniors gathered at Old Time Italian Restaurant for a Halloween party. Here's more.
thanks for coming. We're having a great time, aren't we? Yeah! Are we having a great time? Yeah! Are we having a great time? Yeah. We'd like to thank Diane Chakutis for opening up the doors. And the whole city council. Some of them are here right now. Mass Senior Action had the raffles and donated the desserts, not the food. That came with the place. But we've all got to thank all of them. They've all been great, and they love seniors. Or at least we love them. So who do we love? The counselors. Who do we love? Counselors. I can't hear you. Counselors, we do love you. Thank you for coming, everyone. And we're going to do it again next year. Where? Hopefully. Where will we be? Maybe at our new senior center.
Wonderful.
Where do we want to have it?
Senior center.
The senior center.
That's where we want it. When do we want it?
Now.
But we have to be patient.
Yes. Come on.
Just a little. But we've got to get it.
We had excessive weight when we first started.
And now for the sports update. St. Mary's boys soccer team season came to an end last night as they fell to Oakmont 2-1 in overtime. The Spartans struck first late in the second half when Anthony Gomez found the back of the net to put the Spartans up 1-0. Oakmont would tie things up with 3:30 left in regulation. Oakmont would break the 1-1 tie in overtime to advance in postseason play. Lynn English won their third game in a row after their 60-8 victory over Somerville Saturday afternoon. 3 skilled players for the Bulldogs had multiple touchdowns in this matchup. Running back Wesley Chandler scored 2 rushing touchdowns. The first came on the Bulldogs' opening drive. Receiver Shea Palmer would score the second touchdown of the day on an 11-yard touchdown run. Palmer followed that up with a 25-yard touchdown reception from Jesse Maggs. Receiver Josh McDonald had the biggest game out of all the Bulldogs' skill players. The senior caught 2 touchdown passes and returned an interception for a touchdown. McDonald's first touchdown came on a 62-yard reception from Jesse Maggs right before the half. In the second half, Maggs would find McDonald again for another deep touchdown pass. McDonald's pick 6 would come late in the third with Somerville backed up in their end zone. The Bulldogs will face off against Melrose in a non-playoff matchup next. St. Mary's bounced back after a disappointing loss the previous week and dominated Archbishop Williams 42-6. After Williams scored on their opening drive, the Spartans scored 42 unanswered points, beginning with David Brown Jr.'s 57-yard touchdown run on the Spartans' first offensive play. After the Spartans' defense forced the turnover, Brown would find the end zone again to make it 14-6 Spartans. The Spartans' defense forced another turnover, and this time running back Derek Coulange would take it in. Coulange, who returned from injury, had 3 rushing touchdowns on the day. With the win, the Spartans clinched a share of the Catholic Central League title. St. Mary's will open postseason play tonight when they take on Boston English at Manning Field. Lynn Classical fell to 4-4 in the season after losing to Revere 21-6 last Friday. Revere running back Mark Chasey had a big day on the ground as he rushed for 106 yards on 23 carries to go along with 3 touchdowns, including the game-sealing touchdown run late in the fourth quarter to make it a 2-score game. For the Rams, they'll look to get back in the win column on Saturday when they take on Newton South. Kip Academy closed out its season with a big 36-8 victory over Roxbury Prep last Friday. The Panthers, who finished the season 7-1, will hit the road tonight as they take on Manchester Manchester Essex in the first round of the playoffs. The Hornets gave the Panthers their first loss of the season just a few weeks ago when the two teams met at Manning Field. Lynn Tech's ground game proved to be too much for the Minutemen on Saturday as the Tigers put 38 first-half points. Quarterback Tyler David will get the scoring going for the Tigers as he scored the Tigers' first 2 touchdowns. Running back Dominic Giordano also had 2 rushing touchdowns. His first came after the Tigers' defense forced a fumble, and his second will come right before halftime. The Tigers closed the regular season with a 3-4 record and will take on Hoosac Valley tonight in their first-round playoff matchup. Boston College Eagles have now dropped 4 in a row after Saturday's 21-6 loss to Syracuse. It was tough sledding for the Eagles' offense as they only managed 251 total yards for the game. The Eagles' defense, after pitching a shutout in the first half, allowed 21 points in the third quarter. The Eagles are back home tonight when they take on Virginia Tech. Boston College men's and women's basketball programs held open practices yesterday ahead of their season opener on Tuesday. LCTV spoke with players and coaches about the upcoming season.
What are some things that you've seen from this team that you liked going into this upcoming game?
I mean, I think the biggest thing I like is they got a pretty good understanding of community, the importance of community. You know, they share the locker room, they spend time with each other, they do life together, they got good relationships, but at the same time, they're not afraid of calling each other out, you know, in practice. So I see a healthy locker room. In a short period of time, I think a lot of guys coming together, you know, really starting to connect. So that's one of the things that I've enjoyed. The other thing is, you know, they want to compete. You know, they want to compete. They want to work hard. Again, if there's 10 practices, 7 of them I enjoy the guys, 3 of them I don't like the guys. But you know, that's part of the process.
What's the identity of this team? What do you guys think the identity of this team is going to be this season?
The identity of our team?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think offensively we're a sharpshooting team that likes to run fast in transition. I think we had a couple scrimmages, and that's what I see as being one of our highlights and peaks. And then in terms of defense, we have, like Tisol was saying earlier, we have different players that are fast and athletic. So I think on the defense, those people are going to shine, either because we have multiple people that can stop the ball or pick up full court and last that long in a game. So I think having that rotation defensively is going to be crucial for us. Just as the game goes on and wear and tear, like having people that can come in and have that spark on the bench defensively, I think is also going to be really big for us.
I know you talked about during the summer you changed your number for one of your former teammate passing away. Can you talk about how did that affect you, that incident? How did that affect you?
Yeah, he was, I think, leaving a workout in Los Angeles with one of his teammates from Kentucky, and you know the whole incident happened, and I found out, I think, like 2 hours after it happened, and it was just devastating, to lose, someone so close to you, and that's the closest it's been to me, thankfully. But he was just such an inspiration at Brewster. He was one of my best friends. At the beginning of the year, I kind of didn't like him just because of his mindset, his score first mentality. I'm a pass first guy, and he kind of was taking all the shots, taking all the shine, and he was doing it for his family, trying to make it to the league, and he did. So I'm just trying to really follow in his footsteps and kind of just model him and mimic him, and just keep his name alive.
Congratulations to the Atlanta Braves on winning the World Series title after defeating the Houston Astros 7-0 on Tuesday. Jorge Soler got things going for the Braves in the third with the 3-run homer to give the Braves the early 3-0 lead. The Braves would not be done. In the top of the fifth, Dansby Swanson's 2-run homer put the Braves up 5-0. Freddie Freeman will put the icing on the cake in the seventh with a solo home run to make it 7-0. Pitcher Max Fried went 6 strong innings, striking out 6 batters, and he did not allow a run. This was the Braves' first World Series title in 25 years. The New England Patriots have won back-to-back games after their 27-24 victory over the Los Angeles Chargers. After the Chargers went up 7-0, the Pats responded with a 10-play drive that was capped off with a Damian Harris 1-yard touchdown run. In the second, the Chargers regained the lead on a Keenan Allen touchdown reception from Justin Herbert. The Pats would get a big defensive play in the fourth quarter when Adrian Phillips intercepted Justin Herbert and took it to the house to give the Pats the 24-17 lead. And that would be all the Pats would need in this one. The Pats are back on the road this Sunday as they go on the road to take on the Carolina Panthers. The Boston Celtics are now on a 2-game winning streak after last night's 95-78 win over the Miami Heat. The Celtics used a 33-point second quarter, which included a 30-5 run to go up by 18 points at the half. 6 different Celtics scored in double figures, led by Jaylen Brown, who had a team-high 17 points before restraining his hamstring. The C's wrap up their mini 3-game road trip tomorrow in Dallas when they take on the Mavericks. On this week's Lynn Lowdown, we spoke with Mayor-elect Jared Nicholson. Here's this week's Lowdown. And welcome to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. And today we have a special guest, Mayor-elect Mr. Jared Nicholson. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Mayor-elect, when you hear that, what goes to your mind when you hear that?
It's new. It feels new. Gonna try to get used to that, but exciting.
Yeah, and this was quite the campaign season that you had coming to this point. With the preliminaries and this, it was a lot happening for you. Can you just talk to me about this whole experience? The first time going around running for mayor and even win it. Just talk to me about this whole process.
Yeah, so it was definitely an intense experience, an experience I'm really, really grateful for, and one that wouldn't have been possible without such a big team of wonderful supporters that was able to really put together the coalition we built and do the work it took to reach the city the way we did.
Yeah, there were a lot of things that you were very visible out there. You and all the volunteers that were part of your campaign were very visible, not only before the preliminaries, you guys were very visible. Then after the preliminaries, they ramped up. You could see more and more volunteers. Just talk to me about your strategy.
So the strategy was really just to build a grassroots campaign and to try to talk to as many voters as we can. And we found that the best way to reach voters was to get to them right on their doorstep. And so we knocked doors. From March, we knocked doors. And we kept going the whole summer up until the 7:30 p.m. on election night to remind people that today was the day. So that was the principal strategy. And then, organizing around a message of a better Lynn for all of us.
And one of the things that you were really trying to hit home on was the voter turnout, getting more people out to vote and, sweeping all 28 precincts for you, that's pretty big too, just for first time, for your first time around, just winning it in that fashion, Just talk to me about that.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for the support and really do believe that it was a strong push from our team that was able to reach voters and communicate that message and to remind people to get out. Would love to see more and more people continue to get involved, and that's certainly going to be a goal for us. But definitely feel excited that we were able to build that level of support throughout the whole city.
Yeah, and now you're gonna get ready for the transitioning into going into City Hall, working there. You've already been working with the mayor as part of being on the school committee. You kind of had a glimpse of what the job is like. How nervous or how excited are you for that to fully be running a city?
I'm very excited. I'm really excited to dive in. We do have some time here over the next 9 weeks to set up a really strong transition effort so that we can hand off everything that the current administration is doing and prepare our team to dive right in. So I think, we're thrilled.
And there's a lot of stuff that did you speak with Darren Sear afterwards? Did you speak or communicate with him, or did anybody communicate with you?
Yeah, so we haven't had the chance, but I do feel like I have grateful for all that he's done for the city, and for what he's going to continue to be as a leader in the city, and the same with the other candidate that had run with Michael Satterwhite, and really enjoyed working with him on the school committee, and Keith for that matter as well. All great people who are absolutely a part of the city's future, and grateful for their contributions.
This year's election was so unique because there was all three first-time candidates. You guys you and Michael were on the school committee, and Darren, he was city council president for such a while, but this was the first time everyone was running for the mayor, and it seemed like there was like new excitement or just new urge in the city just to see how this all would turn out, because it definitely piqued everyone's interest because everyone that's on that ballot was new.
Totally, yeah, it's a great point. I mean, I think it was a real important moment for the city, for first of all where the city is in terms of coming back from COVID, and the opportunity that we have for growth, both with development and with the infrastructure money that's hopefully coming. And also, you're right. I mean, there was a real question about where the city would be going without an incumbent mayor running, and without sort of an established mayoral candidate. And I think we're really so excited that we were able to put together a team that shared that message, that it sort of illuminated where I think that the city wants to go.
Yeah, definitely. Now we're going to get ready into the transitional phase, and then you have some I'm sure you have some stuff already planned out in your first few months in office that you want to hit home. I mean, can you just talk about some of the stuff that you spoke on during the campaign that you really want to see happen during your time?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think it starts with the recovery from COVID-19 and keeping an eye on the ongoing public health issues we have, and really pushes towards growth that benefits the whole city, that includes everybody. And that's what was a driving theme of this campaign, and it's going to be what we focus on as an administration.
Yeah, there's a lot of people interested in just working with you. With some of the stuff that's going on in the city. I know you've talked about the nonviolent task force. You've also talked about the housing. How are you going to be able to just bring those folks in to have a conversation, and what will the conversation be like when you finally get to meet with those folks and just talk about the city moving forward and the things that we as a community have to do moving forward?
Yeah, those are two really important issues, and the good news is, like you said, we have a great team in place in the city that's working on them already. I mean, I think for the housing particularly, we have a wonderful starting point, which is the housing production plan that was adopted overwhelmingly by the council and unanimously approved by the planning board, and that's really a great blueprint for us moving forward. There's going to be a lot of work to sort through each of those recommendations individually to actually decide which policies to adopt, but it's a wonderful starting point. And then same in the unarmed crisis response team. There's been some really important collaboration happening with the Lynn Racial Justice Coalition, with the current administration, the mayor's office, the Lynn Police Department, and so that's work I'm excited to dive right into.
Yeah, speaking of the Lynn Police Department, recently they just sworn in 4 new officers. It brings the total up to 186. I know, was there like so I remember the number they were looking at was like 190 or up as far as getting more officers in there. Just how are you going to be able to work with them and just into getting more officers in the force, and just increasing the police presence.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited to work with the team to figure out how to build on the positive momentum we have in the city.
So what are some of your first steps in the first couple months, getting in that transition, figuring out what you have to do, and then what are some of the things that you plan on working on in the first couple months?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest priority we have right now is putting together the team. So that's something we're obviously starting on already, and will be a huge point of emphasis for us as we get in there.
Yeah, that's also the hard part, getting everyone, just putting a team together. You have to reach out to so many people. I have to make sure you get the people that fit, and also the people that have a reflection on the community, because that's one thing City Hall's been doing with in Mayor McGee's time the past couple of years, getting more folks that are familiar with the community, more diverse candidates in there. Is that something you're going to capitalize on or keep that momentum going?
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Officer with Faustina Cuevas is doing wonderful work. Excited to work with her. She's on the team. We know that. She's in the mayor's office and will continue to be. So really excited to work with her, and absolutely going to be a priority for our team, for our administration to reflect the diversity of the city.
And I know this will be something that you're going to be dealing with a lot, is the city budget, which is something that's just been that's mayors, all previous mayors have been dealing with. Are you prepared for that? Because the city budget, there's a lot happening with the city budget. There's been some progress made the past couple of years, but let's talk about that aspect too, because I know that's a lot.
Yep. No. There's a lot of positive momentum there. The current administration has done really wonderful work in getting us out of a really bad situation. We're not entirely out of the woods yet, and so we have to continue to be disciplined in making the right investments and making progress towards what our goals are for the city financially. But yeah, really excited to be digging into that.
What was the reaction from the family on Tuesday? It was from the wife and the parents. What were their reaction on Tuesday?
Everyone was thrilled. I mean, my wife has been just so amazing throughout this campaign, really throughout our time together, and the collaboration that we have, and she's just a huge part of the team of my life, and she was thrilled. And my parents have campaigned hard and wouldn't be able to do it without their help, particularly now that we have Henry and my son. And I could tell you, even Henry was excited. He's 2, so he doesn't quite understand everything that's going on, but he knew something big was happening.
Yeah, definitely. And can you just talk about all the support you got, the endorsements you got from local organizations that you will be working with when you step into office? To talk about those endorsements and the importance of those endorsements. I know the teachers union was one of those. The local 701 was one of them as well.
Yeah, 201.
201. Yeah, 201. Sorry about that. Just talk about the importance of those organizations and having them behind you.
Yeah, I really appreciated their support, and really, I think what we were able to do was put forward that vision of inclusive growth that really resonated with folks. And I think the groups we work with, the neighborhood groups, the unions, other elected officials, we really saw a future of Lynn that aligned with their vision. And so we were able to look at those shared priorities and grow the team in that way. And I'm so grateful for their support and excited to work with them. 201 I think has got some really exciting work happening on collaborating with GE to try to support the investments that need to be made there to create good paying jobs for the city. The teachers union is doing wonderful work and thinking about how to capitalize on the opportunity to build new schools and addressing some really important problems around retention and morale of our educators and addressing some of those important needs that students have outside the classroom. So these are all priorities that I have that we were honored to have that support and really adding to the group that we're working on those priorities.
And speaking of GE, they've been getting these big contracts the past couple of years. They recently had one, I believe it was from the Air Force or something, that would help get more people to work over there on the engine. And also we got the thing going on with Kings Beach. There was a bill that was passed. There's going to be some money allocated over there to get that situation fixed with the pump and that sewage. Just talk about the important part of getting Kings Beach, getting that situation in order, because it's been such a big issue for the past couple of years. I know you talked about it during the forum, but you talk about that again.
Yeah. So I mean, it really is a top priority for us. I think it's wonderful news that we're poised to be able to make those kinds of investments, and a lot of work needs to happen to make sure that follows through. But I think what's exciting right now is that we have this opportunity. There's the money's available. available. We have a team in place in the city with our team coming in with in the mayor's office, but the council that's there, the new council president in the paper today with the poised to take the reins, Jay Walsh, a state delegation, Rep. Cahill, Rep. Capano, Senator Crichton, the federal delegation with Representative Moulton and our senators. There's just a lot of excitement and attention on the potential that we have to really make some wonderful progress in Lynn.
And I would assume it's a lot easier to work with all the folks that you've mentioned because you've just been working with them for the past couple of years as part of the school committee and just being around in the community during community events. I believe it's a lot easier to work with them when you kind of have a feel of what their standards are and what they like to what they want out of the city and what they want to happen in the city.
Totally. No, I've been really enjoyed the experience of working with that team and have wonderful relationships. And I'd also say is that anyone that wants to be involved and be part of this right now is welcome. Like this is a moment where we can all come together and really just capitalize on what's a wonderful opportunity for the city, and there's room for everybody.
Yeah, and this is a job it's not an easy job. As you know, you can't please everybody.
Right.
So you will get those, you will get the critics, and you will get the upset calls or messages. How are you ready to handle that aspect of the job?
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I mean, a lot of the upset calls or messages will be problems that people have that we want to be able to help them with, and that's a really important part of what we do in government, is helping people with their problems and connecting them with the right resources. And as far as the decisions we make, there will be issues where people disagree with decisions that we make. And that have differing opinions on what should happen on particular issues, but I'm really committed to working through those questions, and that doesn't mean that there won't be disagreements, but you can disagree on a particular issue and understand that, acknowledge it, and then work together on different issues where we do agree. Yeah. And you can disagree without being disagreeable. As
yeah. So what's next in this time span before you take the oath and you're officially sworn in? So what is like the day in the life of Mayor-elect Jared Nicholson going to be for these next couple of weeks leading up to the January 3rd inauguration?
Well, we want to be really focused on building out the team. Like I said, that's our number one priority, and thinking through the handoff on the work that's happening right now in City Hall and issues that we hope to tackle, and having those conversations with the really broad range of stakeholders, my colleagues that are going to be working on these issues in the city. The city councilors, the school committee members, the other stakeholders that are involved here, and thinking through together what this is all going to look like. Yeah. So it's definitely going to be a busy time, but an exciting time.
Have you caught up on sleep? Have you caught up on sleep?
Yeah, yet? Just about. It honestly, it was really energizing to be a part of the result that we had, and so I feel great.
Yeah, that is great. And also. Another great thing about these elections is we have newly elected people for the first time in other aspects. In the school committee, there's 3 new members of the school committee. You had a new Ward 3 councilor. So a lot of new faces in Lynn city officials that they're going to get their crack at trying to help the betterment of the city, which is pretty great too. Just to see that with the new faces in there that people voted in.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled to work with Lenny and Eric and Tiffany on the school committee, and with my longtime colleagues with Lorraine and Donna and Brian, and definitely Coco. You might know this is my neighbor and lives directly across the street from me, so it couldn't be happier for him to work with him and the rest of the councilors as well.
Yeah, definitely. This was they said this election cycle was a big one, and the voices were heard. The people came out, and the people that did come out, they made their voices heard. We have some new faces that are going to be on there in city council. So and now it's just everybody got to get to work.
Yeah, and I'll just say, you know, there were some wonderful candidates that ran in those races as well, and they're just as part of the conversation. You know, they continue to work with them and what they bring. So I'm really excited about the team we have throughout the city for the next 4 years.
Yeah, what we saw was a pool of candidates that, you know, that everyone had the same mission and the same goal, and, you know, what about it different, but the mission and the goal for all the candidates were all the same, and it was just great to see all the diversity in the candidate pool, and just people making the effort to encourage people to go out there and vote, because at the end of the day, that's the most important part of this, is encouraging people to use their right to vote. That's
right.
Yeah. So
and their teams. I mean, it takes a big group effort from a lot of people to make all this work. So
you are correct about that. You are correct. And lastly, before we get out of here, if they want to reach you, contact you, or anything, just tell them the websites or Facebook page or anything. Send them that they can get in contact with you.
Yeah. So my website is www.jarednicholson.org. That's probably the easiest way to sum it up, because that has my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, email, phone number. So really, any way you reach out, please encourage you to do so.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mayor-elect Jared Nicholson, thank you for dropping by on us on this Friday, and, you know, congratulations and good luck with everything.
Thank you so much, Mukala.
All right, you guys have been watching the Lynn Lowdown. Have a great day. And now time for community events from the community calendar. Tomorrow and Sunday, the Shoe City Lions will be hosting a yard sale from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. at Christopher's Cafe on Lewis Street. Proceeds from the yard sale will go towards providing Thanksgiving baskets for needy families, school supplies for children in shelters, and Christmas gifts for Bridge House. Shoe City Lions provides community service projects and other Lion charities. Also tomorrow from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m., the neighborhood cleanup will be taking place at McManus Field. Volunteers are encouraged to wear masks and maintain social distancing. Gloves, trash pickers, and bags will be provided to all volunteers. For more information, contact Lisa Nerick at lnerick@lynn.gov. The 7th Annual Elementary School Cross Country Championships will be taking place on Thursday, November 11th at Gannon Golf Course. Check-in begins at 8 a.m. and race begins at 9:30 a.m. Parents who are interested in having their children participate should mail in the registration form to Lynn Parks and Recreation at 250 Commercial Street by Monday, November 8th. To find out more about the community calendar, visit lyntv.org. Thank you for watching the LCTV News. Make sure to subscribe to the LCTV Facebook page as well as the LCTV YouTube channel. Also visit lyntv.org to watch any show at any time on your computer, phone, or tablet. I'm Mukala Kabongo. Have a great day.